Nearly 50% of people in Washington know someone who has been killed or injured by a gunshot. Think about that for a minute. It's mind-boggling, and I would guess it's a lot higher in this room. We've all been affected by gun violence in some way. When it impacts one of us, it impacts us all, which is why we are all here today. I joined this organization nearly a year ago because of people like you. I know that gun violence is preventable, and I know that the coalition to prevent gun violence that is represented in this room has the power to end gun violence crisis in our communities through research, through public education, and by passing responsible gun violence prevention policies.
I think it's really easy to make this a partisan issue, to make this a polarized issue, and for voters in Washington state, it is not. And I think that when we go to these polar sides, which the Alliance is not, we actually represent the center. We represent what people across our state are calling for. In fact, extremist protection orders that was on the ballot in 2016 passed every single legislative district with the exception of one, and it only lost by 2 points there. We literally are representing what Democrats, Republicans, NRA members, gun owners, moms, dad, grandmothers, grandfathers are calling for. And now we have the youth voice to push us along even further.
On the very same day that students in Parkland, Florida were literally running for their lives, our legislature let a bill expire that would have raised the minimum age to purchase semi-automatic assault rifles in our state to 21. 17 people were killed that day because a 19-year-old, very angry young man was able to legally purchase a gun that was specifically designed to kill as many people as possible.
Legislators are getting the message. And do you know who else heard the message loud and clear? The NRA. Yeah. In 2016, the NRA invested more to support candidates in Washington state than in any other state in the country. And that's not per capita, more than any other state. And guess how much they invested to support candidates in 2018? Zero. That is winning.
So this unit is really a very unique, first of its kind unit that started in Washington state, and we know it's saving lives in Washington state and is a model across the country. It's a multidisciplinary unit that has both City of Seattle and King County personnel, including trauma-informed advocates, investigators, and prosecutors, and it takes a proactive approach to preventing gun violence. It removes firearms from the most dangerous individuals and situations, including threats of suicide, homicide, mass shootings, school shootings, and recently an avowed neo-Nazi threatening a race war. The unit is really making a meaningful difference in reducing gun violence in our communities, and in its first full year of operation, it increased the number of firearms surrendered by 400% to 600 firearms taken out of the most dangerous situations.
When armed white demonstrators stormed state capitals, threatening leaders and protesting against the so-called oppression of stay-at-home orders, they were met peacefully and called good people. But when demonstrators, led by people of color and their allies, took to the streets to protest the state-sanctioned killing of George Floyd, they were called thugs and were threatened to be shot. We stand in solidarity with those demanding justice. It is too late to bring real justice for the families of George, Breonna, and Ahmaud. Their lives have already been stolen. But it is not too late to root out the injustice and violence that incited their murders and the murders of so many other Black lives.